Bantamweight championship right here. Rocky Pennington, man, been in the game for 10 years, doing the thing in the UFC. She asked in the press conference today, Bueno Silva, who have you fought? What's going on? I've been in here. I fought everybody. Now, I don't think it's super wise to talk too much craziness if you're Rocky Pennington, because Bueno Silva does bring a tenacity to the game that is rarely seen in this division, right? She's mean. She's a finisher. She hits really hard. And she's just mean, bro. I'm just going to say it again. I'm going to double down on the mean, right? Rocky Pennington is mean in a different way, but we have seen her be a little overwhelmed at times right here. Mayra Bueno Silva, this is my big question to you, man. Over and under on this matchup is 4.5 rounds. What do you think is favored given the style of fighter that Bueno Silva is?
I would have to say the under, Derek, but that one's a little closer. What is it?
The favorite is over. And it's minus 125, minus 105 comeback for the under right here. And this is what gives me a little bit of pause. This is where I said I was going to extrapolate, folks. Rocky Pennington, been in the game forever. If you look at the bulk of the victories in her last 10, decision wins. Bueno Silva, finisher. If you look at her whole entire last 10, man, she's got 4 fights that have gone decision. 3 rounds, right? 3 rounds. That's all we're talking right there. Rocky Pennington does have a 5-rounder loss, but guess who that loss is to, AJ? Amanda Nunes. I mean, come on, bro. It's a different pedigree of fighters that they're fighting here. So Bueno Silva, super dangerous early on, man. Submissions, big shots, doing things to just throw you off of your game, pin you against the back of the cage. Look at what happened to Holly Holm, man. Try to execute the game, try to grapple a little bit. Well, you get ninja choked. You got to be careful, right? But Rocky Pennington, she's seen it all, done it all, very durable, not the hardest puncher out there in the world, but over the span of 5 rounds. Why do we have Rocky Pennington at plus 145 as an underdog?
That's a great question, Derek, because when I was looking at this one, I expected Bueno Silva to be the underdog. I think this one comes down fully to momentum and what have you done for me lately? Because I agree. You want to look at pedigree, you want to look at hit list. Raquel Pennington has the more solid foundation. But Bueno Silva, she's been on a tear. She's the one making news. She's the one making headlines. She's the name everybody thinks of. That's why I think she's the favorite in this one. Don't get me wrong. They're both incredibly good fighters. That's why I think this fight is going to be so close. But right now, in the way people are thinking, it seems like Mayra Bueno Silva is leaning to be just the crowd favorite, if you will. Maybe why she's a betting favorite, or either that or the finishes. I mean, this is an interesting one, Derek, because the big question I have for you going into this fight, like we were just talking about, Raquel Pennington has all the pedigree, but when does pedigree, or I guess when does length and age and durability outweigh that pedigree? Arguably, Raquel Pennington could be hitting that spot soon.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you get the title shot, and it could be too late in your window of your career. 10 years, like we said, if we're looking at the age of a Rocky Pennington, we're looking at how old? She's like 35 or something like that, right? Like, she's older, you know what I mean? She's not the youngest. Bueno Silva's only a couple years behind her, though, right? So while I do agree that is the case, you have to look at the last couple of victories. She just beat Ketlen Vieira, split decision. That was a close fight right there for sure. But Ketlen Vieira was with the boogie woman, right? She was one of those people who you're like, yo, big, long, tall, can grapple. You got to be careful. Rocky was able to edge that one out. Aspen Ladd doesn't age as well, given that Aspen Ladd's in the PFL now. Hasn't even been doing that great there. Macy Chasson, Panikan Kianzad, Marion Renault. I agree with you. A lot of elderly names, you know what I mean? And it's kind of the same point that we're making about Dricus du Plessis, where it's like, some of these guys, a little questionable. But Bueno Silva, on the other hand, Lena Landsberg, bro, the elbow queen, shout out, you know what I mean? Stephanie Egger, Wu Yanan. Listen, man, this is not the deepest division in the world. That's why I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. Real quick, AJ, let's take a look at these numbers. This is just what I wanted to pull up. Rocky Pennington and Mayra Bueno Silva. If you look at the output right here, Bueno Silva, on paper, when you look, not on paper, in visuals, eye test, you think she's not a big volume puncher. In my mind, I'm like, she doesn't throw a lot, man. She throws really hard, but not a lot. She actually throws more per minute versus Raquel Pennington, but I think that this can be skewed given that Raquel Pennington fights more minutes total, right? So how much do you read into these numbers?
No, not much, Derek. I mean, a little, because you're right. In my presence of mind, when I'm thinking about Mayra Bueno Silva, I'm thinking of her as more of an attacker, see things, throw those big bombs coming in. But she does stay active. She is going in there and continuously keeping the pressure up, and that might be where a little bit of that number comes in. And like you're saying, the timing in the actual fights, 5 rounds and whatnot. I still think, man, I something tells me Raquel Pennington just has more output, and that could be the downfall of Mayra Bueno Silva going into this fight. If Raquel Pennington puts her foot on the gas, dominates the ring, and kind of puts that fear in Mayra Bueno Silva, man. It could seriously be her downfall.
So when we're looking at plays right here, I think it's pretty simple. You have a well-rounded fighter. Bueno Silva could take it to the mat, keep it standing. Raquel Pennington has seen it all, has an answer for just about everything. If you look at the takedown defense, if you look at her striking, look at the clinch game. So when we look at props, I still think that there is some juice right there in that plus 165 submission for Mayra Bueno Silva. I think there's juice there, man. Because as much as I love Raquel Pennington right here, and if you look at when's the last time that she's been finished, it was Amanda Nunes in that 5th round where she got finished. You know, it's come on, the lioness right there. But look at the other fights, man. She fought Jermaine Randamy, Irene Aldana, Holly Holm, you know what I mean? All these people that I just mentioned, man, there is no finish in sight. Super durable, but Bueno Silva is a different animal. So I think that the submission is on the table. But if there's anything right here, I'm rocking with your prop lock, baby. Let's go. Give me the decision plus 160. On my end, I'm going to take it for Raquel Pennington, of course. But I also say sprinkle in that over 4.5 rounds decision, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Sprinkle that into your parlays. But if you're rocking with me, you're rocking with Raquel Pennington money line or plus 160 decision. Honestly, I think there's more juice in the decision. I'll take that all day over the money line. What do you see, AJ?
I definitely think there's a lot of juice in that decision, Derek, and that's why I think this is the prop lock right here. This fight is more, well, we'll say hopefully, you know, if it goes the distance, but that's probably what's going to happen with these two extremely talented ladies right there. I'm going with that decision as well. Like I said, the prop lock's going to decision, so whoever you're picking, we're both on the same page right here, but I'm going Mayra Bueno Silva. Pretty sure it's plus 425. It's juice right there for either way. Whichever one you're rocking with, it's going to be a great fight.
All right, there you have it. We're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but the money still remains the same. We want that decision. We want that over 4.5 rounds on this matchup. And with that being said, folks, that's 2 title fights right there. Either way you split it, it's going to be and new in the women's bantamweight division.